Hello, this is Dr. Anthony Delmond. When we left off last time, we were talking about financial and non-financial incentives or benefits for taking on a career in sales. But we want to talk about now who should be in a career in sales. As we know, everyone sells things. Some are better at it than others. A lot of research across many fields, from psychology to business and marketing to economics. A lot of effort's gone into determining those individuals who are best suited for a career in sales. Many have tried to isolate specific traits that make a person successful as a salesperson, but one problem with those studies is that it's a moving target. What worked best in 1930 is different from what worked best in 1990 or 2025. We're going to discuss the evolution of the sales profession and different marketing orientations in a future lecture. We're going to see how those evolve or have evolved. But for now, we're going to just consider what's important in a good salesperson today. Typically in the classroom, I ask people for traits they think are most common among salespeople, and extroversion is the one that always comes up first. We typically think that extroverted people are going to be the best salespeople, but that's not always the case. Maybe it was 50 years ago, but it's not so much today. Research, in most cases, indicates that extroversion is important, but so is conscientiousness. Those tend to have a positive effect on the success of salespeople. And neuroticism, being anxious, tense, unable to take criticism, that's typically going to have a negative effect on somebody's success in sales. Some studies found that agreeableness makes a big difference, and others found it was not as important. This is going to be things like empathy, being able to take and understand someone else's situation. There are also some other things that have an effect, and this is for sales in general. Obviously, when we get into talking about agricultural sales, expertise, comfort with the client, that becomes more important in a one-on-one sort of situation. But other important personality traits are empathy, like I said before, the ability to put oneself in another's shoes and to take on someone else's burdens. It's different from sympathy, because sympathy, you can see somebody from the outside and you feel bad for them, but you don't take it on as your own. Diplomacy is another big one. Diplomacy is your ability to navigate a sales climate, to make sure that you're making everyone happy. It takes some energy and effort, and some people are much better at being diplomatic than others. Cultural fluency is another important trait, something you can learn. Cultural fluency has to do with being able to navigate different cultures, and this is not just talking about cultures in terms of people, but it's also talking about cultural environments in a business community. Some people call that cultural alignment, but it fits into this cultural fluency category also. And then obviously ego drive. This is essentially how driven someone is by those psychological rewards. So not being purely driven by monetary incentives, but also being driven by that just raw ambition and desire to succeed. Those are all important traits as well. So who should be in sales? Well, people who are interested in helping other people. Sales is all about helping connect people with the products that they need. People who are good at solving problems. When we get into our application section, we're going to talk quite a bit about sales as a method of problem solving for customers. People who can adapt easily to different and unexpected situations. Sales presents lots and lots of unique situations. The one nice thing about sales is that you're going to have a different experience every day. Maybe not as an order taker, but certainly as an order getter. People who are driven to overcome obstacles in order to succeed, people who are ego-driven, are typically very good in sales. And people who have a desire to increase their knowledge of an industry, product, the company, and to be an expert in their fields. And also people who value and exhibit honesty. Honesty is important in the sales profession. We don't always think of that right off the bat, but it definitely is. Like I said, selling is just one of many marketing components, but personal selling involves communicating information, persuading potential clients, and helping people with goods, services, and ideas. The goal of sales is obviously to find mutual mutually beneficial solutions, ones that benefit both the seller and the buyer, because those connections are the things that are going to make both businesses thrive. Though we'll spend some time in the next section talking about this, the golden rule of personal selling, in essence, is where salespeople treat their customers as they themselves would like to be treated. We're going to spend a lot of time on buyer-seller relations in the future, but it's important to at least get that out there. You've all heard of a golden rule before. The golden rule of personal selling just is the golden rule as it applies to a seller-buyer relationship. So I've left you with a handful of keywords. Again, these are not all in the lecture, but they're all in the chapter of the text. So you are responsible for all these. Make sure you know them all. And if you don't, ask questions.